Ned slumped in the old pilot seat of the cosmic creaker, his eyelids drooping from yet another endless patrol. The ship's ancient systems beeped and whirred around him, a constant reminder of his tragically uncelebrated talents. He stretched his lanky frame, barely fitting in the cramped cockpit, and muttered, "Another thrilling day in the back of beyond," while running a hand through his messy brown hair. Just then, the cosmic creaker's comm system crackled to life, startling him out of his monotony. Instead of the usual distress call, a sultry, melodic tune filled the cabin. Ned leaned forward, brow furrowed. "What the heck?" he muttered, fiddling with the controls. The sound persisted, less of an SOS and more of a seductive purr. Curiosity piqued. Ned ran a scan of the nearby sector. His eyes widened as the results flickered across the screen. "No way," he breathed, staring at the readout. A colossal ship, easily 10 times the size of his own, drifted nearby, its energy signature unlike anything he'd ever seen. Ned hesitated, his hand hovering over the throttle. This could be his big break, a chance to finally show he was more than just a space janitor. Or it could be a trap. He grimaced, weighing his options. To heck with it, he decided, shoving the throttle forward. The cosmic creaker groaned as it lurched toward the mystery ship. As he approached, Ned's jaw dropped. The vessel was a vision of luxury, sleek and gleaming, a stark contrast to his battered old craft. "The Dream Cruiser," it said in elegant script. "Definitely not from around here," Ned muttered, maneuvering towards the ship's docking bay. His heart raced as he initiated the docking sequence, half expecting to be blasted into stardust. To his surprise, the bay doors opened smoothly, welcoming him inside. Ned landed the cosmic creaker with more care than usual, suddenly self-conscious about the state of his ship. As the airlock hissed open, he straightened his oil-stained jumpsuit and ran a hand through his hair, muttering, "Act like you belong." He stepped out and froze. 2 figures stood before him, without a doubt the most stunning women he'd ever seen. Identical twins with skin the color of a perfect summer sky and outfits that barely qualified as outfits. Ned's mind short-circuited. "Are they?" he began, unable to finish. "Alien. They had to be alien, but they looked so human, except, blue and jaw-droppingly gorgeous." His mouth opened and closed like a fish on dry land. The twins exchanged a glance, their identical smiles lighting up like a pair of neon signs. "Oh, Savior," they sang in perfect unison, their voices as melodic as the tune that had lured him here. One of them stepped forward, her hips swaying like a hypnotic pendulum. "Won't you help us with our engine trouble?" she purred, her accent a seductive swirl. Ned blinked rapidly, his brain struggling to switch from "holy cow" aliens to "holy cow" incredibly attractive aliens are talking to me. Engine?" "Yes, I do engines," he stammered, mentally kicking himself for sounding like a complete dork. The other twin giggled, sending shivers down Ned's spine. "I'm Mesa," she said, stepping closer, "and this is my sister, Noa. We're so grateful you've come to our rescue." Ned swallowed hard, trying to maintain eye contact, and failing spectacularly. "I'm Ned," he managed. "Space mechanic. I fix space things." Noa linked her arm through his, pressing close. "Then you're exactly what we need, Ned the space mechanic," she said. "Why don't you come see our problem areas?" As they led him deeper into the ship, Ned's professional instincts finally kicked in. He forced himself to focus on finding the damage or malfunction, but every time he tried to examine a console or access panel, one of the twins would find a way to distract him. Mesa accidentally bumped into him, causing them both to stumble. As Ned steadied her, he found his hands in some very interesting places, making him blush furiously. "Oh, Mesa," she breathed, making no move to step away. "Such strong hands. I bet you're very skilled with your tools." Noa appeared at his other side, running a finger along his arm. "I hope you can handle a big job, Ned. We have so many parts that need your attention." Ned cleared his throat, trying to regain some semblance of professionalism. "Right. The engine. We should, probably check that out." He gestured vaguely. "Not other parts." The twins exchanged another knowing look. "Of course," Noa said, her tone innocent, but her eyes anything but. It's right through here. They entered what Ned assumed was the engine room. It looked more like a luxury spa, with plush seating areas and a bar. This is your engine room? Ned asked, his curiosity momentarily overriding his hormones. It's multi-purpose, Mesa explained, running her hand along a nearby console. We like to make our work pleasurable. Ned approached one of the main terminals, determined to focus on the task at hand. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with here, he muttered, pulling out his diagnostic tool. As he leaned in to connect the device, Noa pressed against his back, ostensibly looking over his shoulder. What does that do? She asked, her breath warm on his ear. It, scans for anomalies, Ned explained, his voice cracking under the pressure. Fascinating. Mesa purred, sidling up next to him. We have so many anomalies that need examining. As Ned fumbled with the scanner, trying to ignore the twins' proximity, a realization dawned on him. The readings didn't make sense. There was no sign of any actual malfunction in the ship systems. He frowned, double-checking the results. I don't understand, he said more to himself than to the twins. Everything seems to be functioning normally. There's no sign of damage or wear. The twins exchanged another look, this one tinged with amusement. Oh dear, Mesa said, not sounding particularly concerned. Could our distress call have been a false alarm? Noa bit her lip, an action that momentarily short-circuited Ned's brain. How embarrassing, she said. We're not very good with all this technical stuff. Ned's frown deepened. Despite their claims of technical ineptitude, he had noticed several signs that the twins were far more familiar with advanced technology than they let on. Wait a minute, he said slowly, the pieces falling into place. Did you fake a distress call? The twins looked sheepish, though their smiles never wavered. Well, Mesa began, not exactly fake. More like creatively interpreted. Noa finished. Ned's jaw dropped. But why would you? Oh, don't be mad, Ned, Mesa said, stepping closer. We just wanted to meet an interesting mechanic. Noa nodded enthusiastically. It gets so lonely out here in deep space. We needed some entertainment. Ned's mind reeled, torn between indignation at being tricked and a not-so-small amount of flattery. So, you lured me here under false pretenses because you were bored? The twins nodded in unison, looking not at all repentant. And it worked perfectly, Mesa said with a wink. You're here now. Ned opened his mouth to protest, to explain the seriousness of faking a distress call, but the words died in his throat as he looked between the two impossibly beautiful aliens. A small voice in the back of his head whispered that this was probably a terrible idea. A much louder voice told that first voice to shut up. I suppose I could stick around, Ned heard himself say, just to make sure everything's really okay with your ship. The twins' smiles widened, their eyes gleaming with mischief and promise. Oh, Ned, Mesa purred. I think we're going to have so much fun together. As they led him deeper into the ship, Ned couldn't shake the feeling that he was in way over his head. But as Noah's hand slipped into his and Mesa's arm wrapped around his waist, he decided that maybe, just maybe, that wasn't such a bad thing after all. Little did Ned know, this was just the beginning of an adventure that would change his life forever. As the Dream Cruiser's doors closed behind him, sealing him in with the mysterious and alluring twins, the universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what would unfold. Inside the engine room, once a place of tension and urgency, the atmosphere now buzzed with anticipation. Ned's diagnostic tools beeped urgently, confirming what he'd begun to suspect. The ship's engine wasn't just temperamental. It was on the brink of catastrophic failure. Well, ladies, Ned announced, his earlier nervousness replaced by professional focus. Looks like you've got a real problem after all. Your quantum flux capacitor is destabilizing. If we don't fix it soon, we'll be stardust. Mesa and Noa exchanged worried glances. Can you repair it? Mesa asked, her playful demeanor slipping. Ned nodded, rolling up his sleeves. I can, but it won't be easy or clean. You might want to change into something more practical. The twins pouted in unison. But Ned, Noa purred, sidling up to him. Don't you like what we're wearing? Ned swallowed hard, forcing himself to focus on the task at hand. It's not about what I like. It's about safety and functionality. Mesa sighed dramatically. If you insist. But don't think this means we're done having fun. As the twins sashayed away to change, Ned took a deep breath, steeling himself for the complex repair ahead. He had just begun to remove the capacitor's outer casing when the sisters returned, now clad in form-fitting jumpsuits that somehow managed to be even more distracting than their previous outfits. "How can we help?" Mesa asked, leaning over Ned's shoulder to peer at the exposed machinery. Ned cleared his throat. "Right, Mesa, I need you to monitor the power levels. Noah, you're on coolant duty. We can't let this thing overheat." The next few hours were a whirlwind of technical jargon, precise adjustments, and increasingly blatant flirtation. Every time Ned reached for a tool, Noah was there to press it into his hand with a lingering touch. Mesa's power level updates were delivered in husky whispers directly into his ear. "Coolant levels are dropping," Noah announced suddenly, her voice tinged with genuine concern. Ned cursed under his breath. "We need to refill the reservoir." "Noah, can you?" Before he could finish, Noah had already grabbed the coolant canister. In her haste, she accidentally sprayed herself, the clear liquid soaking through her jumpsuit. "Oh no," she gasped, feigning dismay. "I'm all wet." Ned's eyes widened, his mouth going dry as the coolant clung to Noah's blue skin in the engine room's low light. "I'll get a towel," Mesa offered, a hint of competitiveness in her voice. "No time," Ned managed, tearing his gaze away. "Noah, you okay? That stuff isn't toxic to your species, is it?" Noah giggled. "No, it's fine. Just cold." She shivered for effect. "Right," Ned said, his voice strained. "Maybe you should go change again." As Noah left, Mesa moved closer, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "You know, Ned, I'm impressed. You really know your way around an engine." "Thanks," Ned replied, focusing intently on the capacitor. "I've had a lot of practice." "I bet you have," Mesa purred, speaking of practice. "Some of these valves seem awfully tight. Think you could help me loosen them up?" Ned nearly dropped his wrench. "Valves? Which valves?" Mesa gestured vaguely toward a nearby console. "Oh, you know, those valves. The ones that need a strong, skilled hand to manipulate them." Ned took a deep breath, reminding himself that they were in the middle of a potentially life-threatening repair. "Maybe we should focus on the capacitor for now. Those valves can wait." Mesa pouted but nodded. "If you insist. But don't think I'll forget about them." The repair continued with Ned struggling to maintain his professional demeanor amidst the twins' increasingly bold advances. Every brush of skin, every accidental stumble that sent one of them falling into his arms chipped away at his resolve. As they neared completion, Mesa surprised Ned with her in-depth knowledge of quantum mechanics. She rattled off complex equations, helping him fine-tune the capacitor's calibration. "That's impressive," Ned said, genuinely amazed. "Where did you learn all this?" Mesa shrugged, a coy smile playing on her lips. "Oh, you pick things up when you travel the galaxy. I find the intricacies of space-time fascinating. Don't you?" Before Ned could respond, the cargo bay door burst open. "Are we done yet? Because I have something I want to show Ned in the cargo bay." Mesa's eyes narrowed slightly. "We're in the middle of a delicate procedure, sister. Ned can't just leave." "Actually," Ned interjected, wiping sweat from his brow, "we're just about finished. I just need to run a few final diagnostics." Noah clapped her hands excitedly. "Perfect. Come on, Ned. I promise you'll love it." Ned glanced at Mesa, who was trying and failing to hide her disappointment. "I'll be right back," he assured her. "Just keep an eye on those power levels." Noah practically dragged Ned through the ship's winding corridors to a massive door labeled Cargo Bay 3. "Close your eyes," Noah instructed, her voice brimming with excitement. Ned complied, hearing the whoosh of the door opening. Noah guided him forward, then stopped. "Okay, open the—" Ned's jaw dropped. The cavernous cargo bay was empty, save for a shimmering field of energy filling the entire space. "Is that a localized zero-gravity field?" he asked, awe evident in his voice. Noah nodded enthusiastically. "Isn't it wonderful? I thought you might enjoy a little weightless recreation." Before Ned could protest, Noah pushed him into the field. He flailed for a moment before getting his bearings, marveling at the sensation of true weightlessness. Noa gracefully entered the field, performing acrobatic maneuvers that left Ned breathless. "Come on," she called, extending her hand. "Let me teach you how to dance among the stars." The next hour was a blur of laughter, dizzying spins, and increasingly intimate dance moves. Ned found himself genuinely enjoying Noa's company beyond just her physical allure. As they floated face to face, Noa's expression turned serious. "Ned," she said softly, "I know my sister and I can be overwhelming, but I want you to know that this," she gestured between them, "is real. At least for me." Ned's heart raced. He opened his mouth to respond, but was cut off by the cargo bay door slamming open. "Ned!" Mesa's panicked voice shattered the moment. "The capacitor. Something's wrong." Reality came crashing back. Ned quickly maneuvered out of the zero-gravity field, Noa close behind. "What happened?" he demanded as they raced back to the engine room. "I'm not sure," Mesa said, her earlier confidence replaced by genuine fear. "The power level started fluctuating, and now there's some kind of feedback loop building up in the quantum matrix." Ned's mind raced through possible scenarios. As they burst into the engine room, alarms blaring, he realized the gravity of the situation. "Damn it," he muttered, rushing to the main console. His fingers flew over the controls, trying to stabilize the wildly fluctuating energy readings. "What's happening?" Noa asked, her voice small. "The capacitor's overloading," Ned explained tersely. "If we don't shut it down, it'll tear a hole in space-time. We're talking about a localized singularity event." The twins exchanged horrified glances. "You mean," Mesa began, "a black hole?" "Yes," Ned finished. "Right here in your engine room." For several tense minutes, Ned worked feverishly, his earlier distractions forgotten. Mesa and Noa assisted as best they could, following his rapid-fire instructions without question. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, Ned had an idea. "The zero-gravity field," he said suddenly. "Noa, can you extend it to cover the engine room?" Noa nodded, rushing to a nearby panel. As the familiar shimmer of the field enveloped them, Ned made a series of precise adjustments to the capacitor. "What are you doing?" Mesa asked, watching in fascination. "Using the field to create a temporary buffer," Ned explained, his voice strained with concentration. "It should give us just enough time to—" A blinding flash of light filled the room, followed by a deafening boom. For a moment, Ned feared they had failed. But as the light faded and the alarms fell silent, he realized they had succeeded. The capacitor hummed contentedly, all signs of instability gone. Ned sagged against the console, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," he breathed. Mesa and Noa threw themselves at him, wrapping him in a tight embrace. "You did it," Mesa corrected, her voice filled with admiration. "You saved us." As the adrenaline faded, Ned became acutely aware of the twins' proximity in the zero-gravity field. They floated together, a tangle of limbs and relieved laughter. "So, Noa," Mesa said, a familiar mischievous glint returning to her eye. "Now that we're not in imminent danger of being sucked into a black hole, how about we celebrate?" Ned looked between the two beautiful alien women, their earlier flirtations now charged with genuine emotion and shared experience. He thought about Noa's confession in the cargo bay, about Mesa's brilliant mind hidden behind her seductive exterior, and the incredible adventure he'd stumbled into. A slow smile spread across his face. "You know what? I think we've earned a little celebration." As Mesa dimmed the lights and Noa pulled him close, Ned realized his life had irrevocably changed. Whatever happened next, he knew one thing for certain. His days of being an underappreciated mechanic were over. The universe, it seemed, had much bigger plans for him. The dream cruiser was bathed in the warm glow of ambient lights, the aftereffects of the emergency dimming to a comfortable level. Ned was floating amidst a delicate balance of relief and exhaustion, every part of him tingling from the intense experience of stabilizing the capacitor. Mesa and Noa, both visibly relieved and cheerful, hovered around him, their earlier flirtations now tempered by genuine affection and gratitude. As the zero-gravity field was deactivated and the cargo bay returned to its normal state, Mesa clapped her hands with excitement. Congratulations, Ned. You've truly outdone yourself. Ned, still trying to process the whirlwind of events, managed a tired but sincere smile. Thanks, Mesa. I'm just glad we got it under control before things got any worse. Noa beamed, her eyes sparkling with admiration. You were amazing, Ned. I don't know what we would have done without you. Before Ned could respond, the comm system crackled to life. Mesa, Noa, are you there? A voice, distinctly different from the twins, crackled through the speakers. Noah's face fell slightly. Oh no, it's Captain Rian. We're in trouble. Mesa frowned, pressing a button to open a secure channel. Captain Rian, we've completed the repairs, but we had an emergency. Can we explain later? The captain's voice was stern, but not unkind. We've been tracking your ship's distress signals. Report to the bridge immediately. We need to discuss what happened. Ned's curiosity was piqued. Who's Captain Rian? Mesa sighed. He's our ship's chief engineer and overall grump. He won't be happy about the disruption. Great, Ned said wryly, rubbing his eyes. Guess we should face the music. The trio made their way to the bridge, where Captain Rian awaited them. The bridge was a stark contrast to the opulent rest of the ship. Functional, filled with blinking lights and holographic displays, and with a serious atmosphere that immediately put Ned on edge. Captain Rian, a tall man with a graying beard and a no-nonsense demeanor, looked up as they entered. Ah, the heroes of the hour, he said, his tone more resigned than angry. I see you managed to avert a catastrophe. Care to explain why I had to cancel a critical jump due to a false distress signal? Ned stepped forward, his shoulders squared. Captain, we didn't intend to cause any trouble. The distress signal was a mistake. A mistake? Rian cut in, his voice rising. A mistake that could have cost us our entire mission. Mesa stepped in front of Ned, her voice calm but firm. Captain Rian, we take full responsibility. It was not Ned's fault. The issue with the capacitor was unforeseen. We needed help, and in our desperation, we might have overstepped. Rian's gaze softened slightly as he looked at Mesa and then at Ned. Very well. Let's hear the full story. But I want the truth. Ned took a deep breath and explained the situation. How he had received the distress signal, the faulty capacitor, the repairs, and how the twins' apparent flirtations were a distraction rather than an intentional sabotage. Rian listened intently, his expression shifting from irritation to thoughtful concern. So, you're saying this ship is in trouble, but you managed to save it just in time? Rian asked, his tone less accusatory now. Ned nodded. That's right, but it's clear that the ship's systems are in worse shape than expected. I'd recommend a full diagnostic review to avoid future issues. Rian rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Understood. We'll start on that immediately. And Ned, I must admit, your skills are impressive. Thank you, Captain, Ned said, feeling a bit more at ease. I just want to make sure this ship stays in one piece. Rian gave a curt nod. Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to handle the aftermath of this incident. You're free to go, but keep a low profile until we've sorted things out. As Rian turned back to his work, Mesa and Noa led Ned away from the bridge. The twins' earlier excitement had dimmed, replaced by a more subdued mood. Sorry about Captain Rian, Mesa said quietly. He can be a bit intense, but he's a good leader. We needed to deal with that emergency before he could even know the full extent of our situation. Noah nodded in agreement. He's not really angry at you. He's just frustrated with the complications. Nil sighed. I get it. It's been a long day. But, could you explain more about what this ship is actually doing out here? The whole luxury vibe with the creative distress signals has me a little confused. Mesa and Noah exchanged glances. Then Mesa spoke up. We're part of a diplomatic mission. This ship is equipped for high-profile negotiations and peacekeeping. Our current mission is highly sensitive, and we've been dealing with some political turbulence. Noah added, our little signal fiasco was a way to get some help without alerting our official channels. It's complicated, and we're not supposed to mix official matters with personal interests. Ned raised an eyebrow. So, the distress call was really just a way to meet me? Mesa's eyes twinkled with amusement. It wasn't just about meeting you, Ned. We were genuinely in a bind, but we also wanted to see if we could bring in someone with your talents. Ned considered this, a smile creeping onto his face. I guess that makes sense. But if you need help with anything else, official or otherwise, I'm here. Noah's expression brightened. You're really something, Ned. We appreciate it. As the conversation shifted to lighter topics, Ned found himself drawn into the twins' world. They showed him more of the ship, its hidden lounges, and the breathtaking view from the observation deck. The earlier tension was replaced with a relaxed camaraderie, and Ned began to feel like part of their strange and intriguing world. As the evening wore on, Mesa and Noah suggested they take a break and enjoy some downtime in the ship's luxurious recreational area. You've earned it, Mesa said with a wink. Ned couldn't help but be intrigued. The recreational area was like a paradise, a mix of futuristic technology and classical comfort. As they settled into plush seats, a holographic starfield projected across the ceiling, creating a serene atmosphere. I still can't believe all this, Ned said, looking around in awe. It's like something out of a dream. Noah nestled close to him, her eyes soft. It's our little escape from the pressures of our mission. And now, you're a part of it. Mesa sat on the other side, her gaze thoughtful. You've done more than just fix our ship. You've shown us that there's more to life than politics and protocol. Ned looked between them, feeling a connection that went beyond mere attraction. Well, I've learned that sometimes the universe has a funny way of leading you to exactly what you need. As they chatted and relaxed, the night wore on, and Ned felt a profound sense of belonging. He knew he was on the brink of something extraordinary, but for now, he was content to enjoy the moment. As the stars twinkled outside the observation deck and the ship glided through the vast expanse of space, Ned couldn't help but wonder what the future held. But with Mesa and Noah by his side and the promise of more adventures to come, he was ready to face whatever came next.